Have you ever noticed how something beautiful can pop up in the toughest places? Like, you know, a bright flower pushing through a crack in the sidewalk.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's kind of like that, that resilience. It's unexpected beauty in the rough spots.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to dig into today.
Okay.
This idea that tough times can actually lead to some pretty amazing growth and opportunity.
That's a great way to put it.
So for this deep dive, we've been looking at blossoming through adversity, finding favor in difficulty.
Okay.
And our goal is to go beyond just saying, yeah, difficulties happen, and really see how they can be like catalysts,
Right.
unlocking potential and maybe even new possibilities for you, our listeners.
I like that.
One of the things that really jumped out at me in this source was this idea from 1 Corinthians
Yeah.
chapter 16, verse 9.
Yeah.
And for anyone who's familiar with that passage, it talks about Paul. He finds this huge opportunity for his work.
Right.
But right alongside that, he also mentions facing some pretty serious opposition.
It's almost like they come together, right? Opportunity and challenge.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
It makes you wonder if they're kind of two sides of the same coin.
Right. Like maybe you can't have one without the other.
It could be that the bigger the opportunity, the bigger the obstacles that come along with it.
Yeah, maybe it's even a sign that you're on the right track.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If something's really worth doing, there's going to be some pushback.
It's like the universe testing you to see how badly you want it.
I love that.
And, the source uses this really cool analogy about a desert blooming.
Oh, yeah?
It talks about how seeds and bulbs can just sit there for ages,
Oh,
dormant.
yeah.
But then when they get a huge downpour,
The rain.
yeah, exactly. That's when they suddenly spring to life.
It's like that rain is the trigger.
Totally. And it makes you think about all the potential we have inside us.
Right. Just waiting for the right moment to sprout.
What talents or dreams are we holding on to that just need a little push to come alive?
Maybe it's a hobby you haven't had time for, or a skill you've always wanted to learn.
It could be anything. But those tough times, those could be the rain that helps those things bloom.
Exactly.
And the source talks about some of those really tough times,
Yeah.
like breakups, disappointments.
Yeah.
Maybe a business deal falls through or you're dealing with an illness.
Those are the floods.
Exactly. It can feel like you're drowning.
It's overwhelming.
And it's easy to just want to make the storm go away as fast as possible.
Right.
You don't want to think about how it could actually be good for you in the long run.
That's so counterintuitive.
But isn't it interesting how we sometimes find hidden strength when we have to face those challenges?
Totally. Like, we discover resources inside ourselves we didn't even know we had.
And that brings us to the key takeaway from the source.
Okay.
This idea that those tough times, those floods, they're not meant to drown you.
Right.
They're there to nourish those seeds of potential that are already inside you.
It's like they're fertilizer.
Yeah, and maybe that struggle is actually preparing you for a breakthrough.
Like you're being built up for something even bigger.
It's a whole new way of looking at things.
Absolutely.
But, it makes you wonder, how can we tell the difference between challenges that help us grow and those that are just plain destructive?
That's a good question.
And, the source keeps coming back to this idea of finding favor on the other side of struggle.
I was just thinking about that. What does that actually look like for our listener?
Yeah, what does that mean for you in your everyday life?
Well, it could be different for everyone, right?
Sure.
Maybe it's your support network showing up for you in a big way.
Yeah.
Or maybe you gain a new perspective because of what you went through, and suddenly you see a solution you didn't see before.
That's happened to me.
Or maybe you just find this inner strength you didn't know you had, and it helps you grab an opportunity that someone else might have been too scared to go for.
I love those examples.
It's like the struggle cleared the path for something new.
And it gives you hope, right?
Yes.
Like, even though things are tough right now, it could be setting you up for some amazing things down the road.
New beginnings, unexpected blessings even.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the main point is this.
Okay.
Adversity is tough, no doubt about it,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be a purely negative thing.
Right.
It can be a powerful catalyst for growth.
It can open doors you never even knew existed.
And that brings us to our final thought for you listening.
Okay.
Think about those seeds you're carrying inside, those talents, dreams, things you've maybe put on hold.
Yeah.
What kind of what challenges might you need to help those things finally bloom?
What kind of beauty is waiting to surprise you?
What unexpected opportunities might be just around the corner?
Think about that.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
See you.